Thank you, guys. My name is Nadia, and based on previous presentation, my shirt and I are very thrilled to be here. About a year ago, I was sitting and working as an associate in that jean store which was mentioned, which doesn't use any associate. And I was working as an associate, working with customers, helping them buy apparel. And a customer came in, and she started to shop. And she started to ask many, many questions. So we started to talk, and that customer turned out to be Martha, who invited me to come here today, speak, and I was very thrilled, and thank you very much for having me here. So a few words about myself. I was born in Russia, in Moscow, during Brezhnev's era, and couldn't learn anything about retail, because retail as an industry really didn't exist. So as a customer, back in Russia, in Soviet Russia, your experience was really different. You come into the store, the shelves are completely empty. There is absolutely nothing on the shelf. And you stand there and you wait. And if you wait long enough, a sales associate is going to bring out a thing, one thing. You're not sure what it is. It could be a slab of butter. It could be toilet paper. It doesn't matter. You're going to buy it to the maximum allowed amount, and then you're going to trade it with your friends. So as you can imagine, my retailing view of the world was very, very skewed. However, there were two other very prestigious careers in Russia. And those two prestigious careers were mathematics or ballet. And I tried to do both, but unfortunately, by the age of 7, it was pretty clear that my ballet career is not going to happen. I was taller than pretty much anybody around me. So my choice was to work on mathematics, and I loved it. It was very, very exciting to me. So I started my work as a mathematician in Russia. And when I left Russia, my first experience was to cross the border between Russia and Hungary. And I ended up in Hungary, and while I didn't have any money, of course, I went to the store. And I was absolutely shocked. And I honestly thought that all the things which were lying on the shelves are completely fake, because it cannot be the real thing. But they were the real thing. So I got really excited and passionate about this whole deal with retail. I came to America, and I went to continue studying mathematics and finished my dissertation. But I always cared for retail, and I spent a lot of time thinking about it. So while I was working on Wall Street, unfortunately, the 9/11 event happened, and it became very hard for me to continue staying on Wall Street. I was right next to the event, and it was very hard to continue going back and back to work there. And so I decided that I really need a change. So when a bookstore in Seattle called me up, while I knew nothing about books, I was excited. It was a change of scenery for me, and it was exciting for me to move from New York to Seattle. So I went in, and I flew in, and I joined Amazon. And for the first year, I struggled, because I couldn't figure out what am I going to do here. We were selling a lot of books. We were putting books in the boxes, and we're shipping them out. And there was really no opportunity for me to do anything useful. So for about a year, I did nothing. I walked around, and I tried to find something to do, and I couldn't. So I thought I would be fired, and was a bit nervous about it. But December came in, and we had huge volumes, lots and lots of phone calls. And we didn't have enough customer service representatives on the phone calls. So I went to our call center, and I started to work as a customer service rep for the duration of holidays. And as I was answering the phones, I heard two things over and over and over again. They were asked in different ways, but there were the same questions. And those two questions are, the first one was, where is the product? Do we have it in stock? When is it going to be in stock? And the second one was for customers who bought our items. Where is my stuff? There were different variations of those questions, but vast majority of customers were asking those two things. So I started to think if what really matters to our customers are the product and in-stock availability and the delivery, that we have to design a very different experience where customers don't have to wonder whether we have it or not in stock. We have it. And second, that they know up to a minute where their stuff is. And to me, the ideal experience would be when you come to the site, you're being told with great, great precision that if you're going to buy something within the next 2 minutes, it's going to land on your doorstep within the next day. And that precision would alleviate a large number of questions customer had. So I started to work on it, and it was really, really exciting because that required us to know absolutely everything about our supply chain. We needed to know where every item was, where every associate was, where every move was, where customer was, where every truck was. It was really, really exciting job. And we were getting better and better at that. And our vision was to get to, if you buy within the next minute, we would tell you what's going to happen. So it was very exciting, and we became famous for that. We went from books to other categories, from books to electronics to toys. And all those transitions went very gradually. And each category, next category, was handled in a very similar way. We also went to other countries. And again, we followed the same processes and the same technology. And I kept on going to a customer call center, and I heard less and less questions from us. And then it was time for us to launch a new category, and that category was apparel. And little did I know that that category is going to change my life. We launched our own category at Amazon.com, and very quickly we purchased Zappos, and we started to bring Zappos into our network. And once we completed the integration, I went to the customer call center again, and I started to listen to what customers were saying. And over and over and over again, I heard a new question. It didn't fit, or the color is wrong, or I didn't think it's going to feel that way. I want to return it. And it was absolutely clear that that category was very different from what we experienced in the past. So I started to spend a lot of my time trying to make online experience better for apparel. On some of our experimental sites, we added twirling models. You can zoom into it. You can read customer reviews. We would tell you that it runs too small, or I'll buy larger. It runs too large, buy smaller. And I kept on listening to customer phone calls, and nothing I did worked. Absolutely nothing. And we're looking at all the innovative technologies, how to make apparel easier to buy, and avatars and everything else, and none of it worked. So I started to think that in some categories, there just has to be a better experience. And I started to go to stores. I would go to stores and I would watch. And I thought that there is something there, there is a beauty there, which we couldn't provide online. There is an ability to touch and feel. So I became convinced that for a number of categories, that is a simply better experience. I left Amazon, I sold all my stock, and I put it in my new company, which was called Hointer. The only problem was that I knew very little about stores, so I first needed to learn a lot. So as a learning, I opened 3 stores. One store was a destination store, one store was in a very busy mall, and one store was on a very high-end mall, on Stanford Shopping Center in California. And I started to run my own stores. So I worked as a sales associate. I went to Magic, we bought a lot of apparel, and we opened those stores, and I did nothing but ran those stores as a store manager and as an associate. And what I saw there was that there is a massive difference between the way we were running Amazon and the way we were running stores. And those differences were absolutely staggering. And what I saw is that things which Amazon did really well, stores were absolutely horrible at. But there were many things which stores were phenomenal at, and Amazon was doing a really subpar job. So I saw that the opportunity is around bringing the best of both worlds, bringing the efficiency of Amazon and the beauty of the store together. And that is going to be the future. So first, I started to look at the role of a sales associate. And working in a store, it was a traditionally laid out store. The first thing I noticed is that I was busy all the time. All the time. And I was working my butt off, and I was doing things over and over and over again, and they were kind of useless. I had a beautiful apparel laid out, and a customer comes in, pulls one out, the whole pile is unwrapped. Here I go there, I'm folding for the next 10 minutes. In a fitting room, customer would go to a fitting room, they would dump their stuff on the floor. Here I am there bringing this pile, and I need to find on the shop floor where to put that item back. I didn't have any time to talk to customers at all. In fact, I started to hate customers. So, and I thought, okay, I'm new to it. I must not be doing something right. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to learn from the best. And being in Seattle, there was a great opportunity because we have a very famous chain in Seattle, a very famous store, famous for its customer service. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to go and learn, and then I'm going to steal the best from them. So through my connections, I became a sales associate in that store. And they put me into the shoe section because it was a very well-known shoe section. So in the early morning, I show up, I look gorgeous, I look beautiful, I have my shoes on, I'm ready to be a shoe runner. Well, guess what? 3 hours later, I had to take off my shoes, I was sweating, and I had to run back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, leaving my customers alone. So I would come, they would ask me for pairs, I would disappear for 5 minutes because I was trying to find them. I would bring them back. God, the guy wants another pair. I was ready to strangle him. Seriously. So that was just horrible. So I knew that something needs to be done. And then when I was looking at customers, and I was timing customers and how they were shopping, what I thought is that they were enjoying the store. The stores were beautiful. But there were things which were just killing that good experience. And in shoes, those were waiting. So you come in and you're going to want to try out items, and you have to wait for many minutes, and then try asking to try on 20 pairs. The associate is just going to hate you. So it's a very different experience. Then if you're in an apparel store, you come in, and what you're faced with is piles and piles and piles in the rack of stuff. And you don't know whether they have your size or not. So you have to dig and dig and dig, trying to find your size. And then when you lug it into the fitting room, now you're standing in a fitting room. And you are trying an item on, and it's way too small. So what do? You have really very limited choices. You either need to get dressed and go all the way out and bring, or you need to open up the door and you're naked and scream for help and ask associate to bring in. It's just horrible. And I love the item. I want to buy it. Just the joy killer. So what I started to think about is how to use technology to very quietly make shopping more pleasant, how to free up sales associates to actually do less and talk to customers, and how to allow customers not to notice that there is technology, but have this great, great, great experience. So I summoned my daughter. She is 17, so she knows all about shopping. And we started to work with her on designing this new great experience. And she called up her friends, and they came in. They all gave me tons of advice. And so we designed this very different experience, designed at the beginning for apparel. And we wrote software and we put it in my store. And we started to try it out. The beginning was absolutely horrible. We had many, many bugs. Our very first bug was that the software was sending everybody in the same fitting room. And it was just really bad. But slowly but surely, over a couple of years, we worked out the bugs, and the experience started to jive. So many customers came in, many Millennium customers came in, and they really enjoyed shopping. And what I saw is I was spending zero on marketing, and my customers were just talking about this great experience. For example, the men who were shopping with me would bring their buddies from work to shop, to show them. I mean, imagine men bringing their buddies to shop together. Unbelievable. So the experience started to take off, and customers were telling me that they love it. And they were continuously giving me advice. So that experience evolved, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a very short movie. It's actually, unfortunately, it's not that short, but it's a movie. It's nothing like a Nike production, unfortunately, again. In fact, it's a high school project. My daughter directed it, and she filmed it. Acting is absolutely horrible, so to warn you up front. And it was filmed with a handheld camera. But it pretty much depicts what the experience is in our stores for you to see.
Hey, look, Mom, there's the package.
Oh, those are the jeans I ordered.
Let's go try them on.
Yep. All right, I'm going to go try it on.
Okay, I'll wait here.
Okay, that's not that bad.
Oh, boy. Okay, Mom, I know that you love shopping online, but I have a better way to shop, and I want to take you right now.
Right now?
Right now.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right.
Welcome to the store. As you can see, there is absolutely no clutter.
I like how everything is focused on the product. You can see everything.
And you can physically touch it as well. And if you want to know more information about the product, all you have to do is load the OmniCart and tap the item, and you can read customer reviews. You can find out information about the product.
Oh, I can also see media clips. That's great. Well, let's add it to my fitting room.
I'll select your size.
Okay.
And according to our OmniCart, it suggests that we try on that jacket.
You know, actually, I like the whole look. Can we add the whole look to my cart?
Can. Just tap again and select the size.
And could you also add the shoe for me? Let's go try it on. Which fitting room are we in?
Well, according to OmniCart, we are in fitting room number 1.
Oh, look! All our items are already here.
I told you it was easy. Let's go try on.
Let's go try on.
Wow, Mom, I really like those jeans. We have the same ones.
We're like twins. You know, the only problem is that they're slightly too small. I need a larger size.
Not a problem. All you have to do is select it right from our dressing room.
That was easy.
No.
This is great. That is perfect. All right. And I didn't like those jeans.
Toss it down.
I just toss it down?
Just toss it down.
Okay.
And it will remove it from the shopping cart.
Oh, that was fast too.
I know.
Okay, I think we're almost set. The only thing is that I'm not crazy about this jacket.
How about we get the stylist's opinion?
Let's do it.
All we have to do is select Mayday, and she will be here shortly.
Mayday, Mayday. Let me go and talk to her, see what she thinks.
I'll be here.
Oh, much better, but I'm still not exactly sure.
I have a few ideas. Let me choose some things.
Thank you.
Ooh, this will be perfect.
The stylist is going to pick up a jacket for me in just a few minutes.
Sounds good.
Oh, that was fast. think?
I love that. Try it on.
I think it might go well with the pants.
I think so.
What do you think?
That looks amazing.
I think we have a winner.
Let's go check out.
Let's go check out.
So all you have to do is go to checkout and bring your phone to the checkout kiosk and tap.
Oh, look, it already knows everything we have, so we don't have to scan anything. That is great. I just swipe my card, and we're done.
You know, CJ, I really like that other jacket too, the blue one.
You know, I really like that jacket too. And we can order that jacket from anywhere. All we have to do is go to our OmniCart and select the item. And of course our size, and it will be available for delivery.
Oh, item available for delivery.
Super simple.
That is great. Let's go and check out. Fantastic.
My daughter definitely deserves all the credit, but we couldn't get Michael Jordan to play with us. So we developed this experience, and it became popular. Customers were loving it. And I thought that I got it. And then one day, I was sitting in the store, working as a sales associate, helping customers. And then one customer came in, and he started to shop. And he was very, very well dressed, with strong accent. And I started to help him. And he was really shopping. He was shopping for a couple of hours. He tried everything. He tried in a room, out of room, with me, without me, looked at every item, tapped it, went to the fitting room. It was just torturous for a sales associate. He was not buying anything. 2 hours, but I was hanging in there. And then at the end, he came back to me, and he said that he was not really shopping, but he is such and such, and I recognize the name. And the name was a very famous European retailer. And I was just completely starstruck and in awe. And we started to talk. And what he told me was very interesting. He told me that I completely got the technology of the experience and the efficiency of it. But he said, you completely lost the emotional connection with the customer. Your experience sucks. You really need to rethink, where is the emotional connection? You lost the customers in it. So we started to talk, and what he started to ask me is, how can he take that experience apart, the technology apart, so he can build a different experience? And while what you saw looks like a continuous experience, it's actually, from technical perspective, it's like a Lego. So there are pieces to it which you can pick. There is a piece with an E-tag, and then there is a separate with mobile shopping, and then a very separate piece of a fitting room, and a very separate piece of a micro warehouse in the back. And those are really Legos. And what he told me is that what he wants to do is to take those Legos and redesign the experience from the beginning and have an emotional connection with it. And he was just going to license my software. I didn't think I was in licensing business, but he was very, very famous, and I was a very hungry startup. So as of that day, we were licensing our technology. I didn't even blink. Of course we're licensing. So he started to work on it. And while he was developing his vision, I started to think and try to understand, what did he mean by this emotional connection? So in my background, I'm a scientist. And I worked for Amazon for many, many years. Yes, I was selling $60 billion worth of stuff every year, but the emotional connection wasn't there. So it was really, really hard for me to understand what did he mean. So I started to look at my personal life, and I started to think about this emotional connection. When and where in my life do I feel it? And once I took all my experiences apart, the only example I could think about where I feel this emotional connection is when I'm making love to my husband. Sorry about that, but that's what it is. When we are making love, I feel it. We are connected. I am focused. And I'm having the best time of my life. So, to help myself, I started to think about shopping. And every time I think about shopping, I replace the word shopping with making love. And things started to click for me for the first time. So when customers come to my store, they really want to make out with my products. So when you're making out with a product, and suddenly you have to sit and wait for 7 minutes for somebody to bring it to you, it's going to kill all the joy. So if I look at my store and if I look at this experience, all I need to do is to create this phenomenal experience where a customer can be completely engaged with the product, experience it fully, and because he's or she figuring out which product to marry, you cannot make out with one product. I need to make sure they make out with several. So we started to experiment. And what we started to do is we started to create an experience areas, fitting rooms, sitting areas, right in the side of the store, where you come in and you experience the product. You try it on. And as you're trying it on, both the sales associate and the software system tries to bring more stuff for you to try on. From many experiments, we saw that if I make customer try 7 items, he or she is going to buy. And to me, that was a huge revelation. I could convert customer with much higher percentage than I was converting them before. If only I could get them into this experience area, have him select a few, and then add on more items. If associates are not busy, they can be adding more items the same way, tapping, and the items will appear. Or they can bring items to the customer. Or if associates are busy, software technology can do the job for them, adding more items for customer to try. So when we got to those 7-item rules, and when we started to create these experience areas, our conversion rates went up by a lot. And that was for the first time where I truly understood how to take this emotional connection and use technology to make sure that it's not interrupted, but without customers to see the technology. It's all about the experience, and it's all about trying it out, and it's all about trying many things out fast. And then you find the right one. And when you find the right one, you don't return it. This is your item. So, that is where we are. And I think that is the future. I think the future in the store is to have those experiences where you come in and you try many items and you experience them and you buy. And it's a better experience than online by a lot. We started to look at other categories. We started to look at toys. You need to be able to play with a toy. When you come into the store, the toys are in clamshells. You need pliers to open those clamshells. Sometimes there is a little window where you can touch it and experience it. That is not the experience. So we started to work on a toy experience where kids come in and they play. And as children play, we add more items for them to play. And then the parents can see that this is a toy child really, really likes. and they're going to buy it. And it's going to be the toy which child actually enjoys. While if you're buying from Amazon.com, unfortunately, for many toys, what we discover is that children actually much enjoy playing with Amazon boxes than the toys which come in those Amazon boxes. So we have many pictures of children playing with Amazon boxes without even opening the toy. So we started to look at electronics, at places to discover electronics where you are in experience areas. And we started to look at sports equipment, because that is one thing you really need to experience. If you're a tennis player, you need to feel, you want to hit the ball. You want to hit the ball and know that this is your racket. Then you're not going to return it. So that is the future. So what is next for us? And Terry, when he was talking earlier, his point was that there has to be a next. There has to be an action. And there has to be something to do. So what do we need to do? If we think that the future is in-store shopping as an experience, using mobile technology, because that is the right technology to engage with a customer, then that is future like e-commerce was 15 years ago. It provides a better customer experience. It allows customer to buy more. And it also has a lower cost structure. Because if you think about redesigning the store as those experience areas, the cost structure of running the store actually goes down. My stores are cheaper than any of my competitors in the mall. And the reason they're cheaper is because I use a lot less floor. And the rent is very expensive, and my stores are very small. I don't have piles. I don't have clutter. Everything is in the back, packed as sardines. So I really need a very small area to play with. My associates I absolutely have associates in the store, but they are not busy with tasks which are very repetitive. They're busy talking with customers. They're busy advising customers, adding more items for a customer to try on. Very useful. And then if you think about the inventory cost, my inventory costs are lower. And the reason is because when customer shops with his or her mobile device, he or she can see immediately where the items are. And I have some items, the core items, in every store available for customers to pick up. But my tail is spread across multiple stores. So if a customer wants an orange color, he's going to try it in blue, and he's going to add the orange color of the style to his cart and receive it in the mail in the next day. And that allows me to bring my inventory cost down, and my rental cost down, and my labor cost down. So if you have a phenomena where the stores are cheaper to run and the customer experience are better, it's going to take off. So what is next and what is an action item? The action item is that experience is not ready to be rolled out everywhere. And that experience is in its very early stage of an experimental pilots. So what I would suggest is create an area, take a store, one store, and set up a pilot in it. And in that pilot, design the experience that making out with a product. Use technology to not interrupt it. You do not interrupt it, for sure. And use the technology to add more items for customer to try. And watch two things. One is the conversion of customers who walk into the store to those areas. And the second is a conversion from those areas to buying. And you will be surprised. You will be very pleasantly surprised. That experience is not going to be for the whole store. To me, that experience is an add-on. It's a new and alternative way to shop. For some of my stores, we actually use an old way to shop combined with a new way to shop. This is simply a new way to shop. If customers want to shop an old way, they can still shop the old way. If they want to shop the new way, they can. And so what I've seen is that Many customers choose to shop the new way. Some don't, some do. But the ones who choose to shop the new way, they're going to continue shopping the new way, particularly the millennials. For them, it's completely trivial. They don't want any help. They know what they're doing. They don't need any suggestions. They just know what to do. We tried that experience internationally. So we experimented with it in Singapore, and we are going to experiment with it in London this summer. And in all the cases, we are working with partners who have stores. So in our stores in Singapore, it's a fast fashion for women. In our London, it's going to be a department store. And it's going to be not the whole experience, but one area where customers go in, and it's a new way to shop. Try it. Try it. You will see the conversion rates are higher and the cost structure is lower. That's all I had to say.
Was there an adoption by men versus women in terms of comfort level who wanted to buy more? In other words, did you see a gender difference?
Yeah. So I started it as a men's store. It opened up as a men's store because I thought men love gadgets, men hate shopping. We're going to combine them and we're going to make them love shopping. They love to make love, so it's going to work. So men started to come in and they enjoyed shopping. They started to come in with women. And women who shop with them would come to me, knowing that I'm a sales associate, I'm also a CEO of the company, and they would literally be very, very angry with me. They would call me a sexist, and they would say that it's ridiculous to start it as a man's experience. It's actually a woman's experience, because women need to try on more things than men. And they were saying, well, men can try 3 things and he's happy. I need to try 20 on. So we very quickly launched our women's section. And it actually performed just as well as men. I didn't see any difference. We had many women shop. Actually, I saw women are even faster in terms of the shopping. I did not see any difference. I do see that we have a lot of millennials shopping, but we also do have older generation shopping and older gentlemen who shop this way. They bring their sons and they teach them, which is very pleasant. Cool. Thank you.